I just accidentally liked my fiance's WeChat Moments post. I never expected she called an emergency meeting that very night, on the excuse that I disrupted the company's work atmosphere and deducted my entire month's salary. Then she turned around and rewarded her assistant a $1 million luxury car. All my colleagues looked at me with pity. They thought I'd throw a big fit like I used to. But I just calmly packed up all my stuff on the desk and handed my resignation letter to her. How is docking salary enough for bullying a colleague? I'm quitting on my own. As soon as I finished speaking, Song Yichun, my fiance's assistant, spoke up first. Brother Yanzi, how can you quit over such a trivial thing? You've worked at this company for so long, and President Su has always been so nice to you. If you quit at this critical juncture, what will everyone else think of her? President Su, come and persuade Brother Yanji quick. Maybe Su Wanro was going to persuade me just now, but after hearing what Song Yichun said, she also got furious. What's there to persuade? If he wants to leave, let him leave. I've never treated him badly anyway. She immediately took my resignation application, signed it, and threw it right in my face. All the onlooking colleagues stared at me, waiting to watch a good show, but I didn't argue with her like I did before. Instead, I calmly picked up the resignation letter from the floor. I'll leave once I finish handing over my work. No need for handover. If you want to get lost, do it now. Su Wanro pointed at the door, as if she suddenly thought of something. She added in a cold voice, "You get no compensation if you resign voluntarily." Seeing this, colleagues who were close to me all tried to persuade me to bow my head and apologize. They all knew that I was the one who built this company from scratch with Su Wanro. I had poured all my energy into every single business, countless hard work and emotions. Leaving now means giving up everything I have, but I had already made up my mind. After thanking them for their concern, I packed my things and turned around to leave. At that very moment, I clearly saw a flash of complicated emotion cross Su Wanro's eyes. I knew she thought I would never leave. We had fought many times before over Song Yichun. The worst time was when Su Wanro yelled at me in public and gave my entire year's bonus to him as compensation. I was so angry that I threatened to resign, but I held back when I was about to leave. I acted as if nothing had happened, went back to her to sweet-talk her, and kept working as usual, pretending that this incident never happened. She thought I would convince myself to make peace again this time, but she didn't know my patience with her had already run out. Right after I walked out of the company, I got a text message and clicked it open. It was a transfer from my friend. Earlier that morning, Su Wanro said the company was not doing well and wanted to cut my salary. My first thought was that she must be under a lot of pressure, so I immediately contacted my friend to borrow 500,000 yuan. I was going to give the money to her, but then I accidentally saw Song Yichun's Moments post. Then it hit me what Su Wanro was really up to. But surprisingly, I felt totally calm at that moment. Maybe it's because this has happened too many times. Su Wanro has done so many ridiculous things to me, just for Song Yichun's sake. I almost couldn't tell who exactly is her boyfriend, me or Song Yichun. I sent the money back to my friend and thanked him for his help. I walked to the parking lot and found my beat-up old car I've driven for 10 years. Right next to it was a brand new Porsche. It was exactly the one Su Wanro just gave Song Yichun that day. There were plenty of empty spots in the parking lot, but he purposely parked right here. He was obviously trying to provoke me. Su Wanro and I have been together for 10 years. But I'm not as good as Song Yichun, who only joined the company 10 months ago. I gave a self-deprecating smile, without any more hesitation. I stepped on the gas and left the company I'd worked at for years. But right as I drove out of the company gate, someone rear-ended me. I got out of the car, only to see Su Wanro and Song Yichun walking out together. Brother Yanji, why did you brake so suddenly? I didn't even have time to react, Song Yichun said as he walked up and looked at his dented front hood heartbrokenly. Su Wanro's face got even gloomier. Pei Yanzi, I saw you staring at Yichun's car, back in the parking lot just now. Did you do this on purpose? You knew Yichun was driving behind you, so you braked hard on purpose to get back at him. I almost laughed at how ridiculous she was. It's the same old story again. She blames me for everything without even asking what happened. Song Yichun sighed. Forget it, President Su. Let's not blame Brother Yanji. He lost his job because of me. It's normal for him to be mad at me. It's all my fault anyway. If only I'd paid more attention, this wouldn't have happened. As he said that, he clenched his fist and hit his forehead frustratedly. But right before he makes contact, he purposely holds back his strength. But Su Wanro has no clue at all. She rubs his forehead with a distressed look. It has nothing to do with you. Don't take all the blame on yourself. After saying that, he taps my forehead hard. Can't you learn from Yichun and be more responsible? He even knows how to be humble. You've been working for so many years. Why are you still this childish and arrogant? His shove makes me take a step back. I find it kind of funny once I process what happened. Over the past year, Song Yichin has been constantly taking credit for my work and scheming to pin all the blame on me. But now he's suddenly the humble, responsible one, and I'm the childish, arrogant one. I know arguing further is just a waste of breath. I don't feel like saying anything more. I turn around to leave, but Su Wanro stops me again. I thought she was gonna ramble on defending Song Yichin again, but instead she pulls me off to the side and says to me sincerely, Yanji, I just have high expectations for you. That's why I'm so strict with you. Why can't you understand my good intentions? Listening to her soft, gentle words, I'm a little confused at first, but I quickly figure out what she's up to. Su Wanro pats me on the shoulder. I'll withdraw your resignation application. Think this over carefully. Apologize to Yichin. Also for this rear-end collision. You are fully responsible for it. Whatever the compensation amount is, transfer it to Yichin. Once I realize what she's saying, I lift my eyes to look at Song Yichin. He definitely knew what Su Wanro would say beforehand. His face is full of smugness, and he rolls his eyes at me provocatively. I snort. I'm not paying for anything. Go check who's actually at fault for the rear end. Call the police if you can't figure it out. I have things to do. I'm leaving first. I turn around and leave. Su Wanro is furious, stamping her feet behind me. I already gave you a chance. Don't regret it later. I ignore her. I immediately send a message to my friend. I quit my job. I can start working at your company tomorrow. Less than half a second later, my friend calls me back right away. His tone is full of surprise. Are you serious? He can't quite believe it. What about Su Wanro? My friend started his business the same time as Su Wanro. Compared to Su Wanro's company, my friend's company has way more resources and offers much better benefits too. My friend is badly in need of skilled tech personnel, so he promised me higher shares and better profit cuts to get me to work for his company. Even after he found out about my relationship with Su Wanro, he even made an exception and offered me a part-time position. But for Su Wanro's sake, I turned him down without hesitation. Back when I was at my lowest, I almost froze to death lying in the snow. It was Su Wanro who dragged me to the police station and saved my life. I was extremely grateful to her, so I gave up everything I had and poured all my energy into the business, doing everything I could to help Su Wanro build her company up step by step. But looking at it now, she doesn't seem to care at all. Besides, after all these years, I've more than repaid her kindness no matter how you count it. I can make my own decisions. I chat with my friend for a little longer. After we confirm the time to sign the contract, I drive back home to pack up my belongings. Although I bought this apartment with full payment, it's full of memories of Su Wanro and I. I don't plan on living here anymore. I start by cleaning under the bed and find a bunch of paintings scattered there. Every single one is a portrait of Su Wanro. I painted all of them for her back then. She used to treasure every single one of them. But ever since Song Yichin showed up, she started getting impatient with them, saying painting is old-fashioned and a waste of time. It's better to just take photos with a camera. She stopped liking me painting portraits for her. Even these paintings were thrown under the bed. I let out a bitter laugh. I throw them into the basin in the bathroom and light a corner on fire. Flames devour the paintings completely, leaving nothing but a pile of ash. After I'm done with that, I clear out everything else I can throw away. Then I pick up my phone to look for an apartment near my friend's company. But right when I open it, I see Song Yichin sent a picture to the company group chat. It's a photo of him and Su Wanro together. The two of them were at an arcade in the photo. Su Wanro was holding a bunch of plush dolls, smiling straight at the camera. That was a genuine smile from the heart. The whole scene looked bright and sunny. I rarely see him smile like that anymore. I took him to an arcade once before too. But right after we walked in and got game tokens, he turned around and left immediately. Said I was being childish. Said he was super busy every day. Had no time to waste on silly stuff like this with me. I let out a cold scoff. It's not that he hated the childish activity. He just hated being with me, that's all. If this were any normal day, I probably would have gotten angry again. Called Su Wanro to tell her to keep proper boundaries, but I felt completely calm right now. I pretended I didn't see the photo and went back to doing my own work. But when I checked again 2 minutes later, I found several messages had been recalled in the group chat. Even the photo Song Yichin sent earlier was recalled too. I thought Su Wanro would come back late at night again. But unexpectedly, not long after, she walked in while on a call with Song Yichin, looking super happy as she stepped into the living room. When she saw me, she looked guilty for a split second. Then her face immediately fell. She even rolled her eyes at me on purpose, pushed the door open, and walked into the bedroom. I knew she was waiting for me to go coax her. Every time we had a fight at the company, I would always find ways to apologize to her and beg her to forgive me. Even when she was the one in the wrong, I'd still force myself to take all the blame. I used to think that was what I should do. Whether to repay a favor or keep our relationship going, I should always spoil her and give in first. But now I just find all of this so boring. I lowered my head and went back to what I was doing. Not long after that, she walked out of the room with a dark, angry face. "Did you see the messages in the group chat?" "What messages?" I asked, pretending I had no clue at all, without even lifting my head. But I could feel her letting out a sigh of relief. "Nothing, just work messages sent to the wrong group." I thought that was really funny, but I didn't bother calling her out on the lie. I was just thinking to myself, without me knowing about it all this time, how many secrets about her and Song Yuchin has she hidden? Yuchin's car is already fixed. "Did you get your car repaired?" Seeing that I stayed silent, Suwon-ro spoke again. I knew this was her way of giving me an out. If this were any other day, I would have thought she already forgave me and ran right over to fawn over her immediately. But this time I didn't even lift my head. I said flatly, "It's just a beat-up old car." "There's no point in getting it fixed." Suwon-ro frowned immediately. "What do you mean by that?" I looked up at her in confusion. I had no idea what she was upset about. I thought she was going to blow up at me again. But unexpectedly, she let out a long breath. "I know you're still mad about what happened at the company, but Yuchin has been performing really well at work lately. I gave him that car to keep such a talented employee on our team." When I heard her say that, I almost burst out laughing. Song Yuchin was hired by Suwon-ro as a special exception. His work skills are absolutely terrible. You can't even count all his mistakes with 10 hands. Small stuff like ordering plain water for the client at meetings, and ordering milk tea just for himself. Big stuff like when he sent documents to our partner. He sent the internal base price sheet by mistake, which cost the company hundreds of thousands in losses. Keeping him is even worse than keeping a stray dog. If I didn't know the real situation at the company, I probably would have actually believed what Suwon-ro said. I didn't say anything in response. Suwon-ro continued speaking. "You are my boyfriend. When we get married later, the whole company will be yours anyway, right? Why are you so hung up on trivial things like salary? Why do you have to be so petty and argue with him? Yeonji, everything I do is for the good of the company. I don't want other colleagues in the company to think that I'm playing favorites with you." I knew perfectly well in my heart, all of these were just empty excuses. Inside the company, all the colleagues know exactly how Suwon-ro treats me and Song Yuchin. The project I spent 3 straight days finishing, she just decided on a random whim and handed it right over to Song Yuchin. All he did was make a PPT, and it became his achievement. The client I spent days negotiating with, we were just about to sign the contract. She used my name as an excuse, took Song Yuchin out to dinner with the client, and the contract suddenly became Song Yuchin's win. There are countless incidents just like this. After this went on for a long time, all the other colleagues thought Suwon-ro didn't like me. Because of that, I got tons of dirty looks and bullying at work. She saw all of this happening, but she just pretended she didn't notice anything. I didn't feel like explaining anything at all. I just responded casually, "You don't have to tell me all this. I'm no longer associated with the company anyway. Whatever you decide to do, it's entirely up to you." Suwon-ro sighed and walked up to me. She wrapped her arms around my neck. "Actually, I also have my own selfish motive. I want you to take a break for a while. You can think about our wedding plans. When are you going to propose to me?" she asked with a coquettish smile. But I've already proposed so many times before, and she turned me down every single time. Every time we fought and got upset, she would bring up marriage to cheer me up. Sometimes I feel like I'm not even her boyfriend, but more like a dog she messes around with all the time. I said nothing. Suwon-ro then acted like she was teasing a dog and scratched my chin. "Stop being mad, okay? Give me a smile, yeah?" As she said that, she deliberately tried to butter me up and leaned in to kiss me. I smelled Song Yichin's scent on her again, and my stomach churned with disgust. I shoved her away hard, frowning in revulsion. I pulled out a wet wipe to clean my fingers. Suwon-ro looked like she had been struck by lightning and froze in place. "You're disgusted by me? I have an event to attend tonight. I need to head out. I'll go change clothes first." I said this in a calm tone, then turned around to go back to my room. Suwon-ro tried to follow me. I shut the door and locked it without hesitation. "Fine, Pei. Don't you regret this?" After spitting out those harsh words, Suwon-ro kicked the door furiously, then left straight away. When I came out of the room later, there was no one left in the living room. In the company group chat, Suwon-ro sent a message, saying she would treat everyone to a meal, and asked who wanted to come along. Everyone went silent. Only Song Yichin sent 3 happy emojis in a row. I knew Su Wanro was doing this on purpose to annoy me. I couldn't be bothered to look at my phone anymore. I changed clothes and went to rent a new apartment. Then I contacted a real estate agent. I wanted to hire them to sell my current apartment, even though I was the one who bought this apartment. Back when I got the property certificate, I still put Su Wanro's name on it. The agent told me, if we want to sell the apartment, Su Wanro has to be present in person. If she doesn't have time, she needs to sign a power of attorney. I had no choice but to message her again. But when I sent the message, a red exclamation mark popped up in the chat window. She had blocked me. This had happened before. Whenever we fought to the point of no return, Su Wanro would angrily block me and leave the house. I was worried about her safety. So I would sometimes borrow someone else's phone to call her humbly and beg her to unblock me. And on the other end of the line, she would arrogantly ask me if I knew I was wrong. Thinking back now, all the insincere things I said just to cheer her up are way too many to count. After thinking it over, I still called her. Come back tonight? I have something to discuss with you. What is it? I'm busy. Su Wanro's voice was icy cold. I pressed my lips together. We'll talk when you get back. Su Wanro let out a cold snort. You shoved me away whenever you felt like it. And now you expect me to come back just because you said so? Peiyanji, do I owe you something? Is this how you apologize to me? Have I been too nice to you lately? So much so that you forgot how to apologize properly? Listening to her mocking tone, I said softly like I always did. Sorry, I was wrong. I've already apologized against my will so many times anyway. One more time doesn't make a difference. Besides, this apology will get me the apartment. Even though I'm the rightful owner of the apartment, if Su Wanro really wanted to make a big fuss and refuse to sign the papers, I won't be able to sell the apartment at all, even if I have proof that I paid for it. I'd still have to go to court. Su Wanro can afford to drag this out. I can't. Sure enough, after hearing my apology, Su Wanro's tone got a lot cheerier. Wait for me then she hung up right away. I stayed completely calm the whole time. I listed the apartment on the housing website to sell it as soon as possible. I even lowered the price by quite a bit. After I finished all this, I contacted my friend to sign the contract. My friend was super excited. He kept asking me if he was dreaming. He even threw a special celebration dinner for me. I originally wanted to go home early, but then I thought I had no idea when Su Wanro would get home, so I said yes. After a few rounds of drinks, when I was heading to the bathroom, I heard a familiar voice from the next private room. I stopped in my tracks automatically. Through the half-opened door crack, I saw Su Wanro snuggling in Song Yichin's arms. I had no idea what they were talking about. Su Wanro was laughing hysterically. Taking advantage of the moment, Song Yichin quickly lowered his head and gave her a peck on the lips. Su Wanro froze on the spot for a second, but she didn't try to push him away either. Miss Su, when are you going to break up with Yanzi? I can't wait to be with you already. You know every time I see you with him, how upset I get. Do you still like Yanji more than me? Song Yichin said in a hurt, wronged tone. Su Wanro parted her lips, as if she wanted to say something. In the end, she hugged Song Yichin back, like she was comforting a kid, and patted his back gently. In my heart, how can he even compare to you? It's just that the company has grown a lot now. If I break up with him to be with you, I'm scared people will talk nonsense, and that'll be bad for your reputation. Just wait a little longer. It won't be long. I see. I knew you loved me the most, Miss Su. The two of them snuggled up closely, looking exactly like a real couple. I didn't keep watching. I went back to my private room. After a few more drinks, we all started reminiscing about old times. We didn't call it a night until early morning, when we walked into the underground garage. My friend suddenly pulled me over to a top-of-the-line Porsche and asked if I liked it. I nodded confusedly. I thought he just picked up this new car. I was already about to say something to compliment him, but then my friend suddenly stuffed a car key into my hand. It's for you. He winked at me. Look how beat up your old car is. I couldn't stand seeing you drive that ages ago. Got you a new one. I was just about to turn him down, but he cut me off like he already knew what I was going to say. I heard Su Wanro gave a car to the new guy at your company. That guy has garbage skills and he gets a fancy car. You definitely shouldn't be worse off than him. Speaking of, I've seen the work that new guy put out. His style is different every single time. He obviously plagiarized it. I have no clue how he even kept his job. Maybe it was because he was drunk. My friend was holding nothing back, rambling non-stop to me about how bad Song Yichin was. I stayed silent and said nothing. What he said was totally right. All that work was made by me and other colleagues in my team. Almost every time when we were almost done with a project, Soo Won-ro would make us hand it over to Song Yichin. That's why Song Yichin's style is always inconsistent. My friend doesn't even work at our company and he can see the truth. But Soo Won-ro just can't see it somehow. I still wanted to refuse the gift. My friend pretended to be angry and said, "This isn't a free gift for you. I'll deduct it from your future salary. Don't waste my good intentions, okay?" I couldn't help but laugh. If I really had to pay for this car with my salary, it would take me at least a few years to pay it off. I knew this was just an excuse from my friend. I didn't refuse anymore. I thanked him for the gift. After chatting with my friend for a little longer, we both called designated drivers and headed home separately. When I got home, I thought Soo Won-ro still hadn't come back yet, but to my surprise, the second I opened the door, I saw Soo Won-ro already sitting on the couch. "Where did you go? Didn't we make an appointment to meet? Do you have any idea how long I've been waiting?" Soo Won-ro questioned me angrily the second I walked in. I was a little shocked. Normally when she goes out to meet Song Yichin, she doesn't get home until 3 or 4 in the morning. It was really weird that she was back so early. But as I thought about this, the image of her and Song Yichin hugging each other in the hotel flashed before my eyes again. I felt a wave of nausea hit me. "Went out to eat with friends?" I said calmly, and walked into the living room. I took the authorization letter out of my bag. Before I could take 2 more steps, Soo Won-ro suddenly stopped me, and her tone turned annoyed. "You've been drinking too? Didn't I tell you not to drink when I'm not around?" I couldn't help snickering. "So does that mean I can only drink when I'm helping him with social engagements?" I said nothing, but Soo Won-ro seemed to think of something, and suddenly smiled, with a faint smug look on her face. "Are you angry because I went out with Song Yichin, right? If you don't want me to eat out alone with him, just say it directly. Was there any need to drink this much? You're overthinking it. My drinking has nothing to do with you two." I sat down and handed her the house sale authorization letter. "Take a look at this." Seeing what I handed her, Soo Won-ro's tone got even more smug. "What's this? A guarantee letter? Let me tell you first. It's too late to apologize to me now. I'm still really mad at you for what happened this afternoon. Don't think this little trick will make me forgive you." Looking at her smug expression, I couldn't help laughing at myself. It's true. I used to upset her a lot before. And when she refused to forgive me no matter what, to please her, I once wrote a guarantee letter by hand. Thinking about it now, she was definitely in the wrong. But I was the one who handed my own dignity over to let her trample on it back then. "It's not a guarantee letter. It's a surprise," I said calmly. Hearing that, Soo Won-ro raised an eyebrow. She was just about to open it curiously when her phone started ringing. Seeing the caller ID, her eyes lit up. Soo Won-ro raised her hand and answered it immediately. "President Soo, I accidentally hit someone while driving just now. What do I do? I'm so scared right now." Song Yichin's panicked voice came through the receiver. Soo Won-ro looked a lot more anxious. "Send me your location. I'll come over right now." After saying that, she stood up to leave, showing no intention of paying attention to me anymore. I took 2 steps and blocked her way, and held the authorization letter right in front of her. "Let's handle my business first. I was talking to you first, and this document needs urgent signing." Soo Won-ro was stunned for a second, and yelled at me furiously. "Peiyanji, can you have a little empathy? His problem is way more urgent than yours. The way you're being jealous and petty right now is so embarrassing and tasteless." I didn't bother arguing with her, just held the authorization letter next to her hand. With no intention of taking it back, Soo Won-ro said nothing more, and opened the document. But before she could read it, Song Yichin's scream came from the other end of the phone again. "Ah, why are you hitting me? President Soo!" "Calm down, I'm on my way." Soo Won-ro panicked immediately. She didn't even read the content, signed her name hastily, and got ready to leave quickly. Soo Won-ro didn't come back that night. Instead, Song Yichin sent me a lot of messages. "Peiyanji, I know you saw everything outside the private room, right? Soo Won-ro prefers me over you. She'll rush over to see me the second I call her. You'd better back out on your own as soon as possible. Otherwise, it'll be awkward for everyone." I knew Song Yichin was finally showing his true colors, but I'm not generous enough to ignore his constant provocations. Congratulations, though. But if Soo Won-ro gets tired of you one day, remember to be smart and back out on your own too, okay? I know this line doesn't have much bite, but once I sent it, Song Yichin must have felt annoyed for sure. Sure enough, right after I sent the message, he went quiet. I also went to bed early. When the sun came up, I sent the authorization letter with Soo Won-ro's signature on it to the agent. Someone came to view the house that same afternoon. He was very satisfied with the house. He made a decision that night after viewing and arranged to sign the contract with me, and we agreed to hand over the house in 2 days. Coincidentally, I was also leaving in 2 days. After signing the contract, I went back home. Right as I walked in, I heard Song Yi-chen's voice. "President Soo, you're doing it wrong." "Let me show you." I walked to the kitchen door, only to see the two of them standing in front of the kitchen sink. Song Yi-chen had her caged in his arms, holding her hand. They looked very intimate. Song Yi-chen was even wearing my loungewear and my slippers on his feet. He looked exactly like the man of the house. Soo Won-ro was also wearing matching clothes. She felt no discomfort at all with him being close. It looked like the two got along really relaxed and happily. No one knew what they were talking about. The two even laughed out loud. But normally if I got even a little close to him, he would be very uncomfortable. He told me he doesn't get used to being around the opposite sex. I couldn't help snorting. Then Soo Won-ro turned around for no reason. She froze for a second when she saw me, then immediately scrambled out of Song Yi-chen's arms instinctively. She looked a little guilty. "Why are you back at this time?" "Sorry, Brother Yanzi. I was just teaching President Soo how to wash vegetables. Don't get me wrong." That's what he said. But the look he gave me was full of smugness and mockery, like he wanted to see me break down and get jealous. If this was before, I probably would have gotten angry for real again, got into a huge fight with Soo Won-ro, and threw a fit to kick Song Yi-chen out. But I really can't be bothered to care now. "All right, you two go ahead with what you're doing. I'm heading to the room first." I said that in a calm tone, then walked towards the bedroom. Song Yi-chen froze for a second. He looked a little surprised, seemed confused by my reaction. Soo Won-ro had also already prepared for me to get angry, seeing me this calm. Her tone even sounded a little unnatural. She even went out of her way to explain to me for once. "It's Yi-chen's birthday today. He wanted to celebrate with us. That's why I brought him over." If this was before, she wouldn't have said this much. She would have just rolled her eyes at me directly, then scoffed coldly, "If you don't like it, get out." For a moment, I didn't know if I should be happy or sad. I don't even care anymore. But she started explaining things to me instead. She can't even remember my birthday. But she takes the time to celebrate Song Yi-chen's birthday. "All right, you two have fun." I said that, then walked into the bedroom. I've almost finished packing my stuff. The only things left in the room now are some daily clothes and books. I was wondering if I should finish packing today, when the bedroom door was suddenly pushed open. Song Yi-chen walked in, holding a small slice of cake in his hand. He glanced around the room casually, then snickered out loud. "Your room looks a lot emptier than the last time I came here. Looks like you're being obedient and preparing to leave, huh?" I ignored him, kept my head down, and continued chatting with my friend about moving on my phone. Noticing he was being ignored, Song Yi-chen's face turned a little grim. He took a few steps towards me. "I'm talking to you. Are you deaf?" I glanced at him. "Why do you care so much? It's not like you can move in here anyway." "You!" That one simple sentence somehow pissed him off for no reason. His face turned gloomy in an instant. He raised his hand to grab my collar. Before I could make a move, sudden footsteps came from the doorway. Song Yi-chen slammed the cake onto the floor, then yelled and fell to the ground right after. "Yi-chen, what's wrong?" Soo Won-ro pushed the door and walked in, shoved me away hard. Walked quickly to help him up. I stumbled back a few steps. Broken ceramic shards pierced through my slipper into my heel. Bright red blood soon oozed out from the wound, but Soo Won-ro didn't seem to notice at all. She just looked at Song Yi-chen with distress, staring at the faint scratch on his hand. "I'm sorry, President Soo. I made Brother Yanji angry again. I just thought since it's my birthday, everyone could get to eat cake. So I came to bring a slice to Brother Yanji, but I didn't expect he wouldn't like it." Song Yi-chen looked at Soo Won-ro, looking totally lost and helpless. Soo Won-ro pointed at my nose and said angrily, "So you can smash plates and push people just because you don't like something? Yanji, I thought you'd learn to behave. Turns out you're still the same as before. Apologize to Yi-chen right now. Otherwise, I don't dare to have a jealous husband like you." "I don't want you either. Let's just break up directly." She glared at me angrily, looking all fierce and aggressive. It made me laugh for a moment. I couldn't help thinking back to that day. The words I heard outside the private room. When we had the worst fights before, she also threatened to break up with me, but I never wanted to let go back then. Every time I would beg her and say soft words to calm her down immediately, 'cause I don't think breaking up is what she really wants. It's just her trump card, and also an out she's giving me. It wasn't until later that I woke up to the truth. She probably planned to break up long ago. That's why she brings it up all the time. It's not all bad, though. I've been wanting to break up for ages anyway. Even if she didn't mention it now, I would have brought it up anyway, seeing that I stayed silent. Suwon-ro thought I was scared. Her tone softened a lot. You've been so secretive these days. I guess you're busy planning the wedding, right? I know you don't want to break up either. Apologize to Yichin right now. Before Suwon-ro could finish her sentence, I cut her off calmly. No, I agree to break up. The smile on Suwon-ro's face froze instantly. Her eyes were full of disbelief. What did you say? You wanted to break up, right? I agree, I said in a calm tone. I thought when I agreed to the breakup, she'd be relieved. But what confused me was, in her tone, there was only shock and anger. Peiyanji, are you crazy? You're breaking up with me over a tiny thing? She stared at me with wide eyes. I don't get it. Wasn't breaking up what she wanted? I said yes to her. Why is she acting like this? Song Yichin next to her also looked confused and tugged at her sleeve gently.
Ms. Su, Brother Yanji proposed the breakup himself. Why don't we…
Before he could finish speaking, Suwon-ro yelled angrily. Shut up! This is between us! You have no right to meddle! This was probably the first time she'd ever spoken so harshly to Song Yichin. Song Yichin was stunned immediately. His mouth hung open, no words came out. Suwon-ro seemed to realize her mistake too, and quickly softened her voice, and said to him in a low voice, I'm sorry, I didn't mean that. Wait for me outside first. This is our personal business. I don't want to drag you into it. Song Yichin's eyes were red, clearly unwilling, but he was smart enough to know not to provoke Suwon-ro right now, so he left obediently. After he left, Suwon-ro took a deep breath. She was just about to speak, when her gaze suddenly fell to the floor. Her voice softened again. Your foot is hurt. Why didn't you tell me? I'll get a Band-Aid. With that, she walked towards the nearby bookshelf. But I knew this was just her way of changing the subject. Every time we talked about something she didn't want to hear, she would use shows of concern for me. To interrupt our conversation, I always softened up in the past, falling for the illusion that she still cared about me.